are well over 100 anime on this list, but I still don't think I'd classify myself as a hardcore otaku, at least not in the Japanese sense. While this list scrolls, I wanted to talk about the differences in culture between otakuism in Japan versus other countries. For reference, I've only ever had Westerners ask me for an anime list. All my Japanese friends just asked what I've been watching lately or what I liked. Being an otaku or a hardcore anime fan isn't exactly something that gives you bragging rights in Japanese culture. The word otaku brings to mind a crowd of middle-aged men with glow sticks screaming pretty cure chants, rooms full of anime girl figurines, obsessions that go beyond standing, and having freakish levels of knowledge that you impose on other people without their consent. There's this word in Japanese, oshi, that basically means the character that you support the most, but it usually goes to a level of obsession. It's so easy in Japan to obtain enough goods of a specific character to fill a room. I'm guilty of it for Naruto and Boruto, but I don't idolize one person. I just like the shows and the characters as a whole complete package. Oshi is more about standing one person so hard that you obsess over them as if they were a deity. Whenever I run into someone who is really into anime, and I mean otaku obsessive levels into anime, they always ask, who is my oshi? I don't have an answer, but theirs is almost always a specific character from a specific show or game who they want to be romantically entangled with and or are physically attracted to. If you know who someone's oshi is, they might talk about how ideal they'd be as a romantic partner, how attractive they are, and not in a joking way. There is a guy in Japan who married a Hatsune Miku hologram. It feels like otakuism in Japan is structured around this kind of standing oshi culture where you go wild obtaining goods and knowing every detail about your favorites, which is where it becomes a bit obsessive and creepy. While that stereotype is changing with the rise of anime's global popularity, being a hardcore anime fan still isn't something most Japanese people will go around advertising. Just last year, I had someone cover their mouth after mentioning I was an otaku, and looking at me like they just committed a grave sin by exposing me in front of a group. In the West, though, it feels like seeing over 100 shows puts you on a pedestal. The culture surrounding anime feels completely different. Keeping up with the latest shows on top of having watched old stuff is like bragging rights that earn you instant respect. I've seen videos that say kids are more pressured into watching anime than they are doing alcohol or drugs, which is great, but weird. To put it into reverse perspective, imagine if you were to obsess over cartoons to the point that anyone who hadn't watched Kim Possible and Danny Phantom era stuff was a fake fan, especially if they only jumped on the train with Gumball in regular show. But if you watched Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends or Codename Kids Next Door, you are suddenly a legend who deserves the utmost respect. And if the entirety of your class was yelling at you to watch every single episode of SpongeBob, and there was a SpongeBob baby who watched one episode of SpongeBob every day for a year, not that it's wrong or anything, it's just odd to me. Of course, I'm not saying Japanese people hate anime or think that people who are into it are gross. Characters are plastered on advertisements, even sandwiches at the convenience store. My laundry detergent has Nagi from Blue Lock on the bag. It comes on Disney Channel and Cartoon Network. There's a kids channel for kids anime like Akazuki Cha-Cha and Detective Conan, and a few regular channels that just stream whatever is trending. There are other words to describe people that are casually into anime, like Raito Otaku, which is someone who enjoys anime with a reasonable amount of money and time, and they're still able to interact with others like a normal human being. Or even Niwaka, which is kind of like an insult to people who just hopped on the anime train while it was trending. But an anime otaku is on the whole a different level of knowledge, effort, time, money, and they're often characterized by a deviance from the ability to have normal social interactions due to an obsession with the 2D world. Anyway, now that you've had a peek inside my private life as an anime fan and gotten a lecture, I wanted to end this video with, anime shouldn't be about peer pressure. It's like food. Everyone has a different favorite. Go out and try a bunch of stuff and figure out what you like instead of obsessing over making sure you're caught up with the latest trends. And in the meantime, here are some of my personal favorites as a taste testing platter for those that want it. And if you come to Japan, maybe say anime ga suki instead of otaku desu. Hopefully you can make a friend.